Well, the time is finally here. We've reached the end of the semester, and it's time to start looking back on the semester that was, reflecting on the student teaching experience, and some of the things that have gone on over the course of the last several months. This week was very bittersweet as I finished up my regular teaching, and I just want to take a few minutes to look back at the week that was and the future that is to come. First, last week, like I said before, was bittersweet. I planned some dynamic lessons. I incorporated uh, some technology into my lessons this week with video and with some interactive PowerPoint slides that I've developed over the course of the semester. Students enjoyed those, and that was reflected on the test that the students took on Wednesday when there were many more B's and a few more A's than the previous tests that we had. I think my students have benefited from my instruction. It's given them a break from what they were used to, a break from the usual, so to speak, and so I think they've really enjoyed that. One of my students came up to me before lunch on Wednesday and said, "You know, I usually don't like having student teachers, but it's been different with you this year because you're funny and you make class interesting, and I know you're going to be a great teacher." And things like that seem insignificant to some, but to me that was really a booster. That was really something that made me enjoy the day, enjoy the week. And it's things like that, it's memories of some of the great students that I've got to work with this year. It's those memories that I'll take with me from this experience. But reflecting back on the semester as a whole, I have grown through the experience. There's some areas which are easier to see my growth. I think with lesson planning, it's hard to see my growth because I was forced to create some dynamic lesson plans, unit plan for the beginning of the semester, and so at some point in the semester, you could say I declined. My lessons weren't as dynamic as those first lessons that I created. However, there just weren't enough hours in the day some weeks for me to pull out the dynamic lessons that maybe I should have worked for, but then the times that I did, students were more grateful, more appreciative because it was different and it was something that was really interesting for them. So I don't think my lesson planning actually has been one of my areas of growth. The only thing I could really pick from my lesson planning is my ability to calculate time. Towards the end, I've gotten really good at gauging how long things are going to take, what I need to. I've really perfected knowing the amount of material that I need for a 45-minute lesson. I feel like I have been effective at least for 40 minutes of a good 45-minute lesson, keeping my students attentive and on task. And some would say, no, you haven't. You haven't forced all of your students all the time to be attentive, but we'll get back to that later. But moving away from lesson plans, the area that I think my growth is the most obvious is dealing with student issues, dealing with discipline. I've been forced specifically with probably three of my 5 classes have pushed me in the role of a disciplinarian. And it's not a role, it's a role at the beginning of the semester that I hoped I wouldn't become accustomed to. I hoped I wouldn't have to learn how to be a disciplinarian. But at the same time, these are the skills that I need to be successful in the classroom. And over the course of the student teaching experience, I have added a couple things to my toolbox when dealing with discipline. One of those is sarcasm. And some would say that my sarcasm may come off as a little bit mean at times. However, I'm okay with that. I think I've used sarcasm to derail uh, things that could have gotten out of control in the classroom. Sometimes a sarcastic comment, sarcastic joke is all that I need to get students' attention so that they know that I'm serious and that while I'm joking about their behavior, I'm really concerned about their behavior. And so I think that tool has been very effective for me. Couple fellow student teachers who have seen me in action have commented on my sarcasm, been just a little bit amused or surprised when it's come out for me. But though it may not appear to be on the surface, I think it's been very effective at getting students' attention. Um, Another tool that I've learned, and it's something that I've really heard for years, but I've never really understood, is the phrase choose your battles. As a teacher, you must choose your battles wisely. And this is something that I'll really take away from this experience. If I tried to stop every negative behavior that I saw during the day, that would be all that I did. I wouldn't have time to teach. I wouldn't have time to instruct the students on new material, instruct the students, guide the students in their learning. There wouldn't be that for me. I would be dealing with issue after issue, day after day. Maybe some of the issues would be picky, maybe some of the issues would be serious, but there are always issues. And I've learned to kind of scale what I see in the classroom. Some observers have noted that on some occasions I've left a few students with their head down during my class. I've left them with their head down. And that is an instance where I have learned to choose my battles. There are some students that if their head goes down, I will immediately go to them and make sure that their head is up, that there at least some semblance of them paying attention. However, there are others in which they normally pay attention, but if at times their head goes down, I know that some of my students are living in very stressful environments and are dealing with things that they really shouldn't have to deal with. They really don't deserve to deal with. And so they may not be getting rest at their home. No, I don't want them to disrespect me and go to sleep in my class, but I can live with that. I can live with the fact that if they need rest, then at times they should be able to get it. And so things like this, choosing your battles is big. There are lots of little behaviors that I could have picked out during the semester and fought my students on and fought them to try to correct those behaviors and change their lives, but that would have really sapped my energy. And I feel that as a teacher, you have to pick what you put your energy into. And those types of behaviors are things which I choose not to always respond to. And whether you like it or not, these are some of the things that I will take with me from a student teaching experience. I feel like I've learned a lot. One of my fears going into graduate school was that at the completion, I still wouldn't be ready to be in the classroom. Today, in April 2009, I can say that if I were to leave school today and take a job teaching, I would be comfortable in the classroom. I think that is the best lesson I can take from my student teaching experience. So here with my last vlog entry, I want to say thanks to all the viewers and come back later. Maybe I'll vlog my first year in the classroom. Goodbye.